Of thrill show, some of the great shows of the past. Perhaps the forerunner of thrill show was the great Lucky Teeter. Born in Noblesville, Indiana, he saw Chrysler Corporation rolling all-steel turret-top cars at the World's Fair in Chicago and got a great idea to present thrill show. Motorcycles were his hobby at the time, and of course he included motorcycles in all of his events. Jumping over people lying on the ground, daredevils leaping from the rear of automobiles, and of course the automobile itself. Going over ramps, rolling end over end or side over side. Teeter was the forerunner. He added sometimes various stunts like flaming divers into tanks of water. Anything to thrill the crowds that came to see the fairs. Fiery barricades were built for motorcycles and automobiles, sometimes sending them high through the air before bringing them down on the ramps. Teeter certainly was a great showman and led the way for many that followed. Lucky Teeter was killed in 1942 doing the ramp-to-ramp jump over a bus. All events in thrill show don't end successfully, as you can see. This event was slightly disastrous when a pair of drivers crashed through a burning building. From all that we can learn, they emerged safely. Joey Chitwood was a race driver in Indianapolis, Indiana. He got the thrill show bug in the early 40s and came out with his automobiles and stunt crew. Of course, following in the name of Teeter, he performed many of the same stunts, sending automobiles over ramps. In an automobile thrill show, you can take 2 wheels off the ground or 4 wheels off the ground. You can attempt reverse spins, some which are not always successful. That's when you bring a car in reverse down a racetrack to spin it around and head it off in the opposite direction without losing any forward momentum, and if hopefully keep from rolling it over. Motorcycles continued to be an important part of the thrill show scene during those years. And Joey Chitwood was no slouch on the motorcycle either. But of course, his forte was automobiles. He introduced crossovers, bumper-clicking crossovers with automobiles running behind each other, and adding several cars, sometimes as many as 4 or 5 cars in crossover positions. Many of the drivers, one of the drivers, Snooks Wenzel in particular, was killed during a performance of the Joey Chitwood show, and many drivers have lost their life since that time. But in general, it has been a safe profession, and many of the drivers have gone on to perhaps be in our grandstand tonight. Joey Chitwood, his family continues through generations, and in the grandstand this year at the Erie County Fair, you'll see Joey Chitwood performing. These were some of the early scenes of the Chitwood show, always finishing up with such crash events as a flying head-on collision, a dive bomber crash, and rollover contests. Thrill show operators have always looked for new innovation, new ideas in thrill show. Joey Chitwood was no exception. His ramp-to-ramp jump, sometimes ramp-to-ground, or his rollover contest thrilled spectators at county fairs around America. The show continued for many years and is still in big operation today. You're going to see some of the stunts performed by Joey Chitwood at the Erie County Fair on Tuesday the 15th. Here's an event that Joey performed, crashing head-on and head-first through a blazing barrier. Just one of the many events that were part of the great Joey Chitwood tradition, including a head-on collision at many of the fairs. Ice wall crashes were part of the fair years ago, and this year we're recreating the famous ice wall crash at the Erie County Fair. Rollover contests, speed announcers, all part of Thrill Show America throughout the years. Here's the ramp-to-ramp jump, early one performed by Chitwood back in the 1940s and captured on tape. An event that Joey is doing today, or has stopped doing because of its extreme danger, was some motorcycles leaping over a moving truck. But you can see that he runs on a racetrack here Fortunately, the driver of that motorcycle was not seriously injured. And took his bow to the audience. Jack Hotchman took over from Lucky Teeter when he was killed in 1942 in Indianapolis. And here we see some of the performances at the Eastern States Exposition by Jack Hotchman. He continued, of course, with the rollover contest, and as long as the car could run, they kept rolling it. And here is the same automobile coming back for another rollover. It was even during those days, because automobiles were not that available, when they ceased to run, you'd see them take a push vehicle, put them right behind the car, and take it down the racetrack again. During the many, many years that Jack Hotchman and Hellrivers were in operation, no member of the Jack Hotchman team was ever killed. And they played many, many thousands of performances. Here's a very thing I was talking about, a vehicle being pushed by a push truck down to complete another end-over-end roll. The Hotchman show continued with the four-car hell driving, the motorcycle jumps, ramp-to-ramp leaps, and, of course, the T-bone crash. This is an event where you see a driver take a car over a ramp, crash into the side of another automobile, and then flip over on the racetrack while a very anxious crew goes racing to his rescue. These events were a very important part of the thrill show because the Walter Mitty and all of us, we wanted to see what automobiles could do when pushed to their greatest limits. And this one has been pushed to its greatest limits. Jack Hotchman was on the scene from 1943 until his automobile thrill show discontinued in 1981. After that, many of shows appeared in America. This is some of the early appearances of the Jack Hotchman Hellrivers. These scenes go back into the 1940s and 50s, where he appeared at state fairs, county fairs around America. Jack Hotchman had the one innovation, adding an automobile to the ramp-to-ramp jump, putting a car underneath as they went ramp-to-ramp. The pickup truck was introduced into the automobile stunt shows in the early 50s. And to add a little more excitement, they began to put as many as 3 cars underneath as they went ramp-to-ramp, as you can see. Bill Horton, one of the great and most successful ramp jumpers, is no longer with us. He died a natural death many years ago. These are the cars, the original cars, right after Lucky Teeter died, just after the war, when Jack Hotchman was appearing in the orange cars with the skull and crossbones, which were taken off. American Motors came out of the scene shortly after that, and they appeared for many years. This was the American Thrill Show. Again, motorcycles being a very important part of that show. American Thrill Show came on the scene. This was the automobile thrill show that was used in many movies, particularly The Man with the Golden Gun, for which the spiral car was invented.
The Astro Spiral, a 3,200-pound American Motors javelin, executing a full 360-degree roll on a 52-foot ramp-to-ramp jump. Nothing since the late Lucky Teeter jump over a Greyhound bus, lengthwise, has so captured the imagination of auto thrill show spectators. But whereas Lucky Teeter's stunt was a product of pure guts and adrenaline, the Astro Spiral is a product of pure guts and scientific sophistication. The guts behind this stunt is W.J. Milligan, president and producer of the American Thrill Show and the world's largest demolition derby. A man who has spent his entire life involved in automobile racing and thrill show promotion. The computer knowledge and automotive technology behind is Calspan Corporation, formerly Cornell Aeronautical Laboratory. Calspan is known worldwide for its pioneering work in the fundamentals of automotive stability, handling characteristics, crash injury research, and safety testing methods. Putting the two forces together resulted in this computer-simulated animation that proved that such a stunt was theoretically possible. In 20 seconds, the Fortran computer solved the mathematical equations that would have taken over a year to produce by conventional calculator methods. But as the astronaut proved, even the best computer simulation is no substitution for the real thing. So on a snowy December day, a real car, traveling over real ramps with a real driver made the run. A success. For certain fine-tuning of the ramp was required. But time was running out, and a date had been booked at the Houston Astrodome. Now, for the first time, before a public paying audience, the guts in the computer would have to lay it on the line. And lay it on the line they did to a record-breaking two-night crowd of over 98,000 spectators.